Hello Reborners, my name is Karen and this is Making Reborn Dolls with Karen. Today we have Ethan on the table. Ethan is a reborn kit by Bountiful Baby. He is 20 inches, but I swear he is huge. Look at that head. I have other 20-inch dolls. Their heads are not this big. And their limbs, look at, they may not be longer maybe, but they're sure big. Look how big and fat that limb is. He could make a much larger doll. In fact, I'm going to put him on a bigger body. He's got really thick vinyl too. I can feel it. He is well made, I can tell you that. But he is a big, big doll. But before we get into Ethan, I wanted to tell y'all some real exciting news I found out this morning. It's on the Bountiful Baby website. Today, their sales aren't spectacular. I'm not going to say they are, but I'm going to tell you about, I think they still have yesterday's sale actually, unless they changed it since I last looked. Let's see who it is. Well, it just doesn't want to come up. There we go. Today they have, they still have Sage from yesterday. That's not the exciting news I wanted to tell you. I was scrolling through, they have a long list. I've read it out a couple times online of dolls they're bringing back that have been out of stock for a really long time. And I was scrolling through. What they usually do is they bring up their picture again in the rotation, but they put out of stock. So you know that it's coming back, but it just hasn't been really finished yet, but it's soon, I guess. Well, on the list of names, which I have right here. Nope, that's not it. Yes, this is it. I have the list of names right here. These particular dolls I'm fixing to tell you about weren't even on this list. These were dolls I thought were gone for good. One of them is Clyde. I'm going to show you. Clyde is back he's got his picture back up. And it just says sold out. They have the Awake Clyde. Well, let me find him first. Here's Awake Clyde. And they have the Sleeping Clyde. And here's Sleeping Clyde. They are so cute. They're just the cutest dolls. So, so cute. And another one that I was really excited about was Thomas. Y'all heard me speak about Thomas 3 or 4 times that he was just gone. You couldn't find him on the, you could not find him on the discontinued, and you could not find him on the sold out. He was just gone, and now he's back. The prototype was made into a girl, but still, you see, it's Thomas. He makes a darling little kit too. And another one, Emma. I'm not talking about that little tiny 10-inch Emma that they had that was just an artist kit. This is a reborn baby, Emma. I have one of each one of these dolls in my collection. I just paid an I can't say that word. Just an insurmountable amount of money for Emma's kit and Clyde's 2 kits as well. Emma's only available as a sleeping baby. Now be warned, before you get these babies, they have 3/4 arms and full legs, unless they've changed them. And they haven't. Here's Emma's arms. She's 3/4. Clyde and Thomas also, but they make darling little kits. They make darling little babies. I just love them. So I put a notification in. I know you saw at the side of the screen. Here's Thomas again. It says notify me when available. If you click on that, you can put in your email address and they'll send you an email whenever they're back in stock. So you don't have to check every single day. You just look at your emails like you normally do, and you'll know right away if they're back in stock. Now, these kits were not listed on this list that I made from their sold out kit list that they're restocking. These kits were gone, and they've decided to bring them back. Now, they won't be bringing back Thomas Asleep because he was a limited edition. I don't know why. He just was. But Now, they also have their regular sale. Let's see. I don't, any minute now they should be changing it. Maybe they're not going to change it for the weekend. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes whatever doll's on Friday will still be on until Monday because nobody comes in and changes it. But they have 40% off on 50 different items. It's mostly bodies. But if you like these scent wafers, you can get those. Instead of paying 99 cents for them, you'll be paying 59 cents for them. But this is a good time to stock up on bodies if you need bodies. They're much, much cheaper. Here's one, for example. This is just one body. This is the 20-inch biracial premium gathered body. It's normally $22.95. It's $13.77 right now. Now, if you go over to Dolls by Sandy, you can get bodies all day long for like $14.99 or something like that. Or $14.95. I don't know. It's something in that area. But right now, this is cheaper and it's a better body. But now, when they're $22, you'd want to get the Dolls by Sandy bodies because they do work, but they're not as good, if you know what I mean. They're a little more generic. You can see right in this picture, right here where the arm and leg openings are. Let me see if I can get a better picture. No, they don't have but one picture. Let me see if I can get it bigger. Yeah, here it is. Where the arm and leg openings are on this body, you can see they're covered by cloth on the inside. It's like a pouch that you put the arms and legs in instead of just sticking them in an open hole. I think I've showed you on a real body before too. They're much nicer. You could actually stuff them ahead of time and none of the stuffing's going to fall out the arm and leg holes. You know, and have them ready for when your doll's finished. It makes putting the doll together much, much easier. You know, when your doll's baking or cooling or drying, if you're doing air dry, you can be stuffing the body and have it ready. And then you just pop on the arms and the legs and the head and it's all ready to go. Well, I mean, you have to stuff the arms, the legs, and the head, but you know what I mean. But, and nothing falls out the holes. They have this little, they call it a mushroom tool, I think. It looks kind of like a mushroom. It's the rooting tool. I don't personally use one, but this one is $13.95 regular, so it's $8.37 now. And they have this little chubby. This is for any baby. They made it for Joseph 3 months, but it'll fit any baby. 23 to 26 inches is what they advertise. It's only an upper torso. It does show in this picture. You can see a little bit of his little tiny butt crack, but it doesn't go all the way down. It just stops right almost where the diaper is. It just gives you the illusion they have a body. It's not going to really be like anatomically correct or anything. It doesn't go down that far. In fact, I might can find a picture of it. Here it is right here. See, you see it only shows a tiny, tiny bit of his little butt crack. And then you don't see anymore. And they have this stuff. It's regular $19.95 and right now it's $11.97. It's poly pellets, but they're not hard and they're not soft. If you put them in the belly area, you just put them in like they are. You wouldn't need to put them in a sock or anything. They're great big. And if you touch the baby's belly, it feels like they're a little bit fat there. You wouldn't want to pack these in by any means. These are like just something you add to give that feeling that maybe they are fat, you know, on a fat doll. You wouldn't want to put them on a skinny doll. They have this sea sponge, which it's a natural sea sponge. I can tell you I had one. It's a booger to clean. It really holds the paint. I'm telling you, you have to wash it and wash it to get that paint out. But anyway, I suppose you could get one for each color and then you wouldn't have to wash it. But it would get so dark. I just don't think you could. It's for modeling, so you don't have to make a modeling sponge. But I didn't think it did as good a job as a modeling sponge. I just threw mine away after a certain amount of time. They're very odd shaped, and some of them are real small, about this big around. They're teeny. They look big in the picture, but they're not. Here's an example of their eyes. Now, these eyes are no better than the eyes I get. No better at all. Virtually identical. And you see they're regular $10.95, and they're on sale for $6.95. No, $6.57, excuse me. And they're no better than the ones I get from Dolls by Sandy for like $2.99. They have a front and a back belly plate, except, okay, the front belly plate is for 18 to 22. That they don't necessarily promise their stuff's going to match. The front belly plate is for 18 to 22 inch dolls, and it's $11.97. Regular $19.95. That's just utterly ridiculous. And the back belly plate, well, they don't call it a belly plate, they just call it a back plate, is for 16 to 18 inch dolls. So see, they would be for two different size dolls. So now they do sell a front plate for 16 to 18 dolls. It's not on sale. They have this hospital blanket. I would like to have that, but I still think $4.77 is a little bit too much to me. I don't know. You might think it's okay, but from what I've read, I think they're pretty big. You could wrap the whole doll up in that. Here's the 8-inch hemostats I was talking about. They're on sale as well. You can get them now for $5.97, which is a pretty good price if you need some hemostats. If you ever have to pull any stuffing out of a doll, you're going to need some hemostats. Now here's their hair. I'm just going to show you. This hair is regular, $29.95. And some people think it's better because it's called Newborn's the brand name. It virtually roots the same as the Sophia's Heritage I get from Dolls by Sandy. Now, this is only 1/4 ounce, and it's $29.95. It's on sale right now for $17.97. But if you go over to Dolls by Sandy, you can get Sophia's Heritage. It looks almost identical. It's virtually identical. And their hair will be 1/2 ounce, and it'll be around $16 or $17. Regular price. All the time. So, you do the math. And when you're learning, it really don't matter. They have cuddle bodies. Their cuddle bodies are pretty nice. Now, they're not put together because they don't have open seams. Most of the time, when you get a cuddle body, the arms and the legs will have an opening in it, and you have to stuff it and then sew it up. Well, they don't do that. You stuff it from the open end, and then you have to put together. They have a video on how to do it, which you can access it when you get ready to do it. But you have to put the little joint thing in there and attach it to the body after you've stuffed it. It makes a nicer looking body after they're stuffed, but it's a little harder to stuff it. So be warned if you get one of these. They're $17.97 right now. They're regular $30. So that is outrageous too. They have a different variety of their brushes. Now, I'm sure these are really, really nice brushes. And yes, I did order them in one of my other orders. They were about the same price. And here's some more cuddle bodies they have on sale. And then they have a little bit of paint. They have Flesh 04, Flesh 05, in the little tiny bottles. This size right here. This little tiny bottle. And they're $3.77 each. So if you wanted to try out a new color of paint, $3.77 is a good price. They almost don't have any paint. They have Flesh 04 and Flesh 05 in the tiny bottles. Then in the 1 ounce bottles, they have Vein Blue and Yellow Ochre. I get Raw Sienna. I've never used Yellow Ochre. I don't know how it looks. And they are $13.17. And then they have their satin varnish, not their matte varnish. Now, I've used satin varnish before. It's a little bit smoother looking, but now whether or not it's really any smoother, I can't remember. But it's okay too. It'll still matte your doll. Your doll will look fantastic with it. $35, regular $59.95. So it's not quite half price. It's only 40% off. And then they have their DVDs still on sale. If you want to listen to Jackie Kramer in German, or sit there and stare at the TV the whole time. Those are great videos, I'm sure. Now, Denise Pratt's, you can pull right up on this phone. I will find a way to do it right now and show you. And you can watch the entire thing. You do not have to buy it. Let's see. I've watched it several times. I just don't remember where it's at. No. I don't know where it's at right now, but they have. I have watched it several times. In the video, she uses Genesis paint, though. This is an old video, and but they do say, they put up a disclaimer or something that Gemini works just the same. You don't have to. It's very not good anyway. Her video's not very good. It is far away. You don't see much close up of her doing it, and she doesn't explain anything. I can't find it right now. I just don't know where it is. Somewhere where I was just looking through some reading about some products or something, it said something about watch Denise's video or something like that. Anyway, she makes paisley, and paisley's been sold out for a long time, so evidently special deals, no. Policies, no. Information, no. I don't see anything. I don't know where it is. I can't remember, but it's somewhere. And if you can find it, you can watch it too. It's just not very good. That's all I know. Let's see. Is it under supplies? No, probably not. I thought it would be under the video, but it's not. It's somewhere else. It's like it's available to watch, but they don't want to encourage you really to watch it without buying it. So they have it up, and you can find it if you look hard enough. And I just can't find it right now. But anyway, it is available to watch. It's just not easy to find. Let's put it that way. It's somewhere in the paints, I think, because it talks about the paint by number. Maybe it's under this. The paint by number method that they use. You can get the instruction manual. This instruction manual you can actually download and see, it says instead of buying the instruction manual for $10.95, you can actually click here to download. See that right there in red? It says click here to download. You just download that. Somehow I thought that I would find something to do with Denise's video here. More about the paint line. Tells all about the mediums and stuff. No, I don't see it. I don't know where it's at. It's under something when you're looking at something to do with paint or something to do with the paint by number type of method to paint or something. It's going to tell you that you can download her video. I mean, not download it, just watch it. I've watched it numerous times, and it wasn't that long ago. I watched it right on here again. And I go, yeah, that's just like how I remember it. Maybe it's under beginner kits. I don't know. It's in here, so I don't need to spend more time looking for it. I just need to... Oh, they already have Charlie in a beginner kit, too. Boy, they're really starting to get these beginner kits with lots of different babies. So if you want a certain kit and you want a beginner kit too, this is the best way to buy it. If you want the beginner kit, it's $159. But see, they have lots of different dolls with the beginner kits. Let's see, they have, and the beginner kit is all the paint. It's that whole beginner kit that I read out to y'all on another video. Kimmy, Elsie, Kimber, Rebecca. Some of these are Reborns too. They're all still $199.95. Carol, Tegan, Liam, Jewel, Juliet. I didn't even know Juliet was still available. Lexi, Stephen, Rose, Kaylin, Wendy, Sylvia, Martin, Aspen, Evelyn, Alyssa, Sylvia Wake. They have Sylvia Wake and asleep. Katie, Autumn, Charlie, Felicity, Lavender, Priscilla, Leaf, Marnie. That's all. So far. I have a feeling some other ones will be available. Which, if you want that beginner kit and you want a kit, this is a great way to buy it because it's almost like you get the kit. Well, it's much, much cheaper, let's put it that way. Some of these kits are $79, some are $69, some are $59. You pair that with the $59.95 beginner kit, it's way over $199 anyway. So you'll come out cheaper this way. And you'll get that entire beginner kit, which, in my opinion, there's a lot of stuff in there that you could get a lot cheaper somewhere else, but it just comes in the kit, you know. And I've been thinking about ordering one just as soon as I can afford to. I'm waiting for them to go on sale myself. When they have a site-wide 40% off sale, these will be much cheaper. They might be $159, the same price as the beginner kit. But anyway, that's enough about stuff from Bountiful Baby today. I am going to real quick grab me a water, and we're going to then crease Ethan. I cannot hardly make it through without water. Here we go. I'm gonna put this list back away. I had intended to read it out, but we spent 22 minutes talking about stuff on Bountiful Baby. Okay, here we go. We are going to crease Ethan now. He is a big, big baby. A lady messaged me through eBay. In the middle of the night last night. Don't you have any bigger babies? That's what she asked. I said, no, not right at the moment. All the ones that I had that were slightly bigger than she sent me a picture of Tessa. And she said, how big is this baby? Do you have any bigger? And I told her the ones I had bigger, and she said, oh, I already have those. I want something different. I said, well, I do have Ethan. I had him laid out to start, but I hadn't decided I was going to start him yet. But I can start him. And she said, okay, I'll check back. So I'm going to start Ethan. We're going to first crease him. Now, Ethan has already been washed, and he has been sealed. He had his 2 bakes. If you want to know how to seal a doll, refer back to the series that says How to Make a Reborn Baby, Everything You Need to Know. You will see me seal a kit. They all seal the same, no matter what size or kit they are. You just put the sealer all over them. You let it dry for a little while, and then you bake them one time, then you turn them over, and you bake them another time, letting them cool completely in between. So now we're going to crease them. I use a pencil because, well, it does a good job, and I like the results. And the color I use is henna. My pencil's getting short now. It was about that long. Now it's this long. But I sharpened it real sharp, as you can see, because I want to get in between these toes that are touching each other without getting it all over his toe. It does look like pencil now, I'm going to tell you. It looks like pencil when you first do it. But as you're painting and baking your doll, and paint thinner and stuff is going all over your doll and paint and stuff, it mutes these lines a little bit where they don't look like pencil anymore. But you can actually accelerate that process if you're just dissatisfied with the way the pencil is working. You can take a swab and rub them. I used to do it. I don't do it anymore because a lot of the lines get too, it feathers them out a little bit, which means it's actually removing some of the pencil. And it makes them look less like a pencil line and more like just a color down in the crease, that would be what you're after here in the first place. But I was finding that after doing that, I liked the way it looked when I did it. But after doing it, when you're painting your doll, it's easier for the actual lines to just wash right out because they're just wispy and soft and very little actual pencil in there. So you have to make your own decision on that. I suggest you try it both ways. And my suggestion would be try it this way first. If you have a practice kit, and I highly recommend practice kits because you can actually try out techniques like this before you do it on the doll that you spent a lot of money on, if you're doing an expensive kit. If you're not doing an expensive kit, just consider any kit that you're doing as a practice kit. Because essentially that's what you're doing. You're practicing on cheap kits to get your techniques honed so you can make better kits later. Kits you want to make. Let's put it that way. Not that you don't want to make the kits you have. I'm not saying that. You know what I mean. Anyway, then you can see, plus you can also see my results by watching my video and see how Ethan's coming out. And I personally like the creases. I do as many of them as I think are feasibly possible. You can't do every single crease. You'd be here all day long just doing creases. Now, Ethan doesn't have a huge amount of creases, so you could probably do all of it. You can do them all on any baby, actually, but you just don't want your doll to look that lined up. You want to do the ones that you think are prominent enough that you would want them to show. Basically, what you want to do is decide which lines on your doll would look good if they showed better. Anything you don't want to show, you don't want to enhance in any sort of a way, because it's going to bring it out, it's going to make it show better. Like, for example, if they have a real wrinkly face and they're frowning, if you don't want them to look that frowny and grouchy looking, you don't need to enhance anything on their face. You just need to start painting them. So I don't crease the face anyway because it's just such a delicate area and you want it to look a certain way that I don't crease it. Now, if a doll has just extreme features that I want to show, like, oh, I want that little wrinkle on his nose to show, I'll enhance it with paint. But the paint, a lot of times, doesn't show up like a crease. It more shows up like a shadow. So if you want to crease, you're going to have to use a pencil. Now, see, I've done the back of his leg and up here. Some of these won't show because they're going to just wash out because the area that they're in is so superficial that it's almost like if you just put a line on your doll right there on their leg, it wouldn't stay. Okay, so that's one done. Oh, I wanted to show you the bottom of his foot. It does look pencil-y now. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's not going to look so pencil-y later on. Anyway, so now I'm going to do his hand. And see, we want to do in between these little fingers right here, but we don't want to get a whole lot up on his fingers. We just want it to look like it's darker down in that crevice. Just like it would look if you put your fingers together like this. See how it looks a little darker down in between your fingers? We want that to show on his fingers as well. Ethan's a very nice kid. He has very nice looking fingers and toes. He looks very realistic. I've seen some kits, and they're mostly artist kits, where the arms and legs look cartoony. They didn't look like a real arm or leg. Now look at those fingers. They just look like real fingers on a baby. unlike some other kits that I've done in the past that looked not so real. But like I said, they're artist kits. They're not real-borns. They actually scan the baby with a 3D camera or something, take pictures or scan it, and then they 3D print the baby. I guess it's plastic. I don't know what comes out of a 3D printer. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's something similar to plastic. Then they examine it all over to see if they. I actually watched a video about that, how they do that, and they were talking about how they had to edit the videos because the pictures, they come up, but when they're trying to 3D them, they start to look kind of funny. They showed them. They almost look like an ultrasound. And parts of the baby does not show because it's the parts that are wet. So they have to fill it in by looking at pictures of the baby and adjusting the picture this way and that way. So they'll do three or maybe 2 or 3 or 4 3D prints of the baby before they actually send it for production to make sure everything looks right. Like if I fix this mouth, okay, how does that look? It looks okay on the camera, but when I 3D print the baby, does it look like it goes with the face, like that? But they do a very realistic job. I've seen pictures of the actual baby and pictures, and the kit, and they look eerily the same. So this is what the baby actually looks like. And I'm assuming this is what his little hands look like. It's actual 3D of his personal hand, not just every baby gets generic hands or something. Some companies do that. When you order the kit, it's just a head or it has the same generic limbs as another kit. Now, Bountiful Baby does it too on their artist kits. Like they even have a list of dolls that share limbs so that you can see which dolls are going to have the same limbs as the doll you have. I don't know why they do that. Maybe in case you have a boo-boo on a limb or something and you want the same limb, but possibly that doll's out of stock or something. You could get another doll and get the limbs. I don't know why they do it. But I often switch limbs on my dolls because I don't like the limbs that always come with the doll. For one example, oh yeah, Emmy. Emmy is, I don't see Emmy. Emmy toddler's coming back, but not Emmy newborn. Emmy newborn has 1/4 limbs. They're just the little hands with one of these flanges kind of down here by her wrist. And I don't like that, so I never use her limbs. I always give her some other doll's limbs. So I'm always on the lookout when they're having a limb sale. Right now, Bountiful Baby has started something new. They have what they call their parts warehouse, and they have started selling pieces of dolls, and it goes like this. Before they had arms as a set, both arms, like Quinn arms or Ethan arms or whatever, and then they have a price for it. Now they have left arm of such and such doll, right arm of such and such doll, like that, because they're I don't know, they're trying to get more money now. I think they're trying harder. I don't know, but there, that's his arm. Anyway, it's hugely expensive, like $10 for one arm. No can do, not me. I'm on the lookout. Now, when they're on sale, if they have a 40% off sale or even better than that, sometimes they have a 50 or a 60% off sale. Just depends on what they put on sale that day. But if they're having a sale, it might be more worth it because you could get the whole set for maybe $10. I mean, the 2 arms together for $10. That's not too bad. And I just put them up and save them. And when I come across a doll I don't like their limbs, I just switch them so I can have the kind of limbs I want on that doll. Sometimes I don't want the 3/4 limbs. I want them to have full limbs. Now there's a few dolls I won't switch the limbs with, and Clyde's one of them because I just love his limbs. Even though they're 3/4, I love his little hands. They're open. They look good. their signature for him. You know, everybody knows, oh, those are not, they would say, oh, those are not Clyde's arms. I can tell right off the bat they're not Clyde's. So, yes, you can switch limbs on your dolls. But I am so glad that some of these kits are coming back in, because I love them and they sell good. But I'm going to tell you, when they start coming back in, you better snatch. Unless they raise their price real high, you know, they won't sell. I can't say they won't sell. Ruby sold out. Michael sold out. Felicity, I'm not sure if she's out or not, but a lot of these kits are popular. And I was lucky to grab 2 Michael kits. And I still have one, and I'm going to make him after Ethan probably. Maybe. I want to make Mary too. I have a Mary kit, and I want to make her. I had a Mary, and she sold. She makes a pretty little doll. And I want to make her again. So, and I have her, so I can make her. I don't know if she's in stock either. It's Mary Awake is the one I have. I don't think I've ever made Mary Asleep. I don't know, I might have. I can't remember really. I make so many dolls. Sometimes I just can't remember if I made one or not. See, like this little crease right here, it's barely even a crease. I don't even think it counts as a crease. It's just a dent, kind of. I'm not doing it because it's not going to stay. All of them aren't going to stay anyway, but you kind of hope that some of them will, you know. And if there's just no chance at all that you think it's going to stay, there's no need to do it. You don't have to be super perfect with your creases. Now, when you're getting down in between these fingers, you kind of do, because it being up on the sides of the fingers does not look like a crease. It just looks like a messy mark. And you want your creases, the whole reason you're doing them is because you want the actual crevice to look a little bit darker. And if it's not going to be on the actual crevice, you're not going to like it very much. I can guarantee you that. I like to do these little marks on the fingers. They just look so cute when they're done. I don't know. Did I put the... Yeah, I did. This is Sage, her hand. See, now her creases do show, but they don't look so much like pencil lines anymore. And look at the palm of her hand. They just look like darker little areas. You can see on her fingers, actually on her fingers there, that the little lines on her fingers are creased. And her feet are the same. She's waiting for Sage. It's Sage. Yeah, I have to look at the head sometimes. Her head's up there on the shelf. She's waiting for hair. Instead of doing the hair on the 2 dolls I have finished, James and Sage, I'm working on Ethan today, because a lady wants a big doll. I'm going to make her a big doll. I mean, I'm not making it as a custom. I'm making it the way I want to, but I'll post him and hopefully she'll buy him. I need to make all the doll sales I can. I paid a good bit for Ethan's kit. He was not on sale. Well, he was on a small sale, let's put it that way. Just like that other doll I just bought, I can't remember his name. Charlie. I just bought Charlie. He was on a small sale as well. Instead of being $79, he was $49. So that's not too bad, I don't think. We have to keep telling ourselves, yeah, Bountiful Baby will have sales. Don't worry, they will. But if you wait for a sale now, I mean, if you're waiting for a big sale like $19.99 or something, I don't think you're going to find it. Not for a long time. And if they do, it'll be a very quick one. One time they had a Black Friday sale, and I don't think, it might have been this year. I think it was last year, though. And what they did was they had a bunch of things on sale. But they said, changes more than one time a day. It's going to just change. So like they have a certain kit, you don't get it, you come back 2 hours later, it's not on sale anymore. So that's why I said you better get ready to start snatching. When they start introducing all those kits, they are liable to just leave them on sale for a very, very short amount of time. Okay, now we've creased this doll, and we're going to, before we do any major painting on him, we're going to have to bake it. But I'm going to do some enhancing on the face because it's a good time to do it right now because I don't crease the face, so it's not going to interfere with the pencil lines or anything. But I'm going to start with blue. I want to put some blue up here on his forehead. Hopefully this blue is going to work. If not, I'll have to dip it. I have used this brush several times to put paint on a doll's forehead like this, and it's working just fine. It runs out. It runs out of paint. Oh, I need a sponge. I'll use this one. We always want to sponge it a little bit, unless it's just a tiny spot, like when I do the bottom of the feet. I don't usually sponge that because it just takes all the color away. But what we're trying to do here is spread it out and feather it a little bit. We don't want just a dark, dark swipe across their forehead. We do want we're looking for illusions here. We want the illusion that there's something going on under the skin here. Babies have certain areas of their skin, certain areas on them where their skin is thinner, and you can see a bluish color on the baby. And the forehead is one of them. Another place is up here by the eyes, right in the corners of the eyes, which you can do or not do. That's strictly up to you. Any of the things you see me doing are optional. He looks like Jenny, the kit Jenny. I think that he's the brother of Jenny because his mouth and everything, he looks just like her. I know Jasmine is his sister. And another place people put it is right here by the nose. I don't usually do that, but I'm going to do it this time just because it's something different to do. It's put a little streak down from the nose like it's going toward the mouth. Now, you're not supposed to be able to see this on camera at all. If you can, it's probably too dark. That's what they say. But everything lightens up after you bake it. Remember that as well. That doesn't mean do things super dark because they're going to lighten up, because you'll be sorry about the way it looks. You get used to what will lighten up and how much it'll lighten up as you get experience. But while you're a new artist, I'm going to advise you to take it easy on your colors at first, because you can do layers. You don't have to get them as dark as you think they need to be on the first go. So now we're going to be putting some red on his face. I have, I didn't tell y'all about my technique. I'm using this dry brush technique. These brushes have been dipped in their color and put up to dry. So I can put them all over my hand. I'm not painting my hand. I'm not painting the table. A little gets off on the table because it's just so white. But anyway, I'm going to now put some red on this doll. What we want to do is make some of his areas a little bit pinker than the rest of his face. This is very dark. Look how dark that is. Don't fret. We are going to dab it. The red is not pink. It's red. It's this color right here. It's bloody red. Anyway, it looks a little bit pink on the doll because it's light red. It's nothing like regular pink, though. Regular pink is going to give you Barbie. So you don't want Barbie on your doll, so don't use pink. You want to use red. And if it's light enough, it's going to be a pinkish hue, but it's not going to be pink pink. That pink that you see, it's ugly, ugly, ugly. Now we're going to dab this and lighten it up a whole lot here. Because like I said, we don't want Rudolph or anything like that. We just want his nose to be a little darker than that is nowhere near dark enough. because I dabbed it and most of it came off. This is his first layer of pink. Now, we also want, oh, this is driving me nuts. I hate it when my paper towels are scooting off the table. They're catching on my sweatshirt. We're going to be pinking his cheeks a lot. Babies have really pink cheeks, but when you do that, it makes the rest of his face look extremely pale. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give him a background color on his face. We're just going to swipe this brush across his face and just give him a light tint on his face, all of his face. And we're going to dab it so it's not going to be harsh or anything like that. And then we will come back and we will blush his cheeks the way we were normally going to. I know this looks extremely dark, but it's not. It's going to get much lighter when it bakes, and I'm going to dab it as well, so don't worry. So we always dab our paint because we don't want anything to look like the baby has a rash. Look how rashy that looks. It looks terrible. So we're not going to leave it like that. We're going to actually be feathering it out. We want it to gradually go away, not just suddenly stop. So if you can't do it with your sponge, then we use another little tool that I call, well, it's called that. It's a kabuki. If you ever put on makeup and you have a kabuki brush, you know what I'm talking about. A kabuki is no good for anything else but this kind of thing. Some people do all of their actual painting with it. You can pound really hard with your kabuki like this, and what it does is it smooths out that paint. And if you don't like the way it's smoothing, you can actually swirl it a little like this, and it'll lighten it and feather it a little. You don't want to swirl too much or rub too hard. Rubbing usually takes paint off, so we don't want to take too much off of him. Now, he has a nice, pretty pink background on his face, which is what we're looking for. I shouldn't even have tried to pink his nose first, because you see it doesn't look any different now. We'll pink his nose later. But when this bakes, it'll be very light, very, very light. We're also going to do his ears. It just makes cute on his ears. It's very, very cute. You want to get the entire inside of the ear, though. So you're going to have to swirl your brush around inside of there and get down in all those little crevices to make sure the entire inside of his ear is pink. You don't want part of it still looking white. We don't want any part of it looking darker pink or red. We're after a pinkish look. But you can tell this isn't the same as pink color. It's light red, really. I did one time mix up pink. Oh, it's terrible, terrible. So I was a new artist then, and I thought pink, yeah, we want pink. No, we don't want pink. It's terrible. I'm just letting the ends of the bristles brush the back of his ear here. Now, if you're using super wet paint, well, you had to dip your brush, then you're going to need to wipe off almost all of the paint. You don't want any dripping or running when you're doing this. So you're going to wipe it and wipe it and wipe it until it's just almost completely dry. All you have to do this dry brushing, you have to, well, first of all, you have to be a heat set artist. You cannot do this with air dry. It does not work. There. Look how cute those ears are. Now, I got a little on his head itself, so I'm going to use a swab. I use these pointy swabs. They're not all that pointy, really, but they are a little bit better than rounded tip ones. If you got rounded tip ones, you can certainly use them. I did it for many years before I started buying pointy ones, because I just in my mind thought pointy ones would be too expensive. Then I priced them. You can get a huge box of 170 of these pointy swabs. They're Equate brand at Walmart, and they're very cheap. Now I'm going to do this ear. See the difference? This one doesn't have any color in it. I kind of wiped a little bit off of this ear when I was wiping his head, so I'm going to put some more on there. See, when you're wiping, like with a Q-tip or something, it's going to take the paint off. And what we want to do is just smooth it out. When I was wiping behind his ear, a part of the swab touched his ear and wiped some of the paint off of his ear. So I had to put some more back on there. Now, if you do a lot of pink, reddish color on your doll like I do, you're going to need more than one paintbrush to be dipped in your color. I have my paintbrushes are organized in little mason jars. The 16 ounce, 16? Yeah, 16 ounce, I think. The pint. I don't know, whatever size this is. It says warm blush on this one because that's what the paintbrushes are, and I have a bulb syringe for each color, so I don't have to wash them. I never, ever wash my brushes, and I recommend you do not, because, well, paint thinner's bad on your brushes for one thing, and you're just washing out your beautiful color that you're trying to use on this dry brushing. I just use the brushes that I have for each color, for that color, and if it requires a fine detail brush, I do wash them, but these bigger brushes that I use, I just put them in the jar and just use them and don't wash them. I re-dip them and they're ready to go again. Now, we can't do any enhancing on the arms and legs. Well, we could on the legs and arms themselves, but I don't enhance them, just the hands and the feet. But we can't do it right now because the creases haven't been baked, and they'll just rub off. Okay, now I'm going to dab this ear a bit. Like I said, we don't want harsh, we just want cute. And dabbing, just touching it, just touch it to the color. You see it toned it down a whole lot and made it just look smooth and pretty. So there's that. Now we're going to let him sit a minute, and then we're going to do one more thing to his face before we put him in the oven. And we're going to work on his toenails and his fingernails. They are a part that you have to build. You can't do this in one go. People who try to do that end up with ugly, ugly nails. We want smooth, pretty nails. And lips. We're going to do his lips as well. And in order to get smooth and pretty, we have got to build it. What we want to do, once again, I'm using red. This is a bloody red color, the same color as this blush right here, except it's thick. What I did for this is I took a jar of what they call thinning medium, and it's thicker than regular paint thinner. Paint thinner's in this jar, but in this jar, it's thinning medium. It's a thick medium. Well, they call it thin, but it's thicker than paint thinner, but it's thinner than their thick medium. They have one called thick medium as well. And this is the thin medium. You take one jar, you have to remove a little, otherwise you can't put any paint in it because they fill it up almost completely to the top and you can't mix it. So you have to remove a little from the bottle. If you have another bigger bottle or an empty bottle, you can pour some off in there. But you just take that one bottle and then you put your color in it until it's the color that you want. The less color, the lighter the paint. And then you just mix it and mix it and mix it until it's smooth and consistent. Now we're putting it on in a very, very thin layer. We're not trying to achieve our color all in one go. What we're trying to do is get it even and smooth and pretty. If it doesn't even show at all, that is okay. Absolutely fine. That's probably too thick what I have on there. Oh, he's got one nail that's way down here. Oh, I hate it when their nails are embedded into their hand like that. Unbelievably hard to paint. Because you got to try to do it without getting it on any other part of the fingers or the hand that it's touching. I have to say, we're probably, well, we might can. That nail only has a very tiny bit of it showing. The part that you would tip isn't even going to show, I don't think, on that nail. I was going to say, we probably will not tip these nails because of the way they're dug into his hand like that. It's near impossible to tip nails like that. I don't necessarily tip every doll's nails anyway. If you've got too much on your brush, just wipe it on your table like that, and you can go back and pull some of that darker off. You don't want to put it too thick because it will run, And where it goes is right down to the base of the nail, and it looks like you outlined it with a darker color or something. It looks terrible. You don't want to get any off the nail itself. If you just get a tiny drop, it's too much. I wipe most of it off. You can bend the hand a little bit like this to get down into that area if it's too close to the hand. Bend it backwards and it will pop up a little bit where you can better get a handle on the painting. Now this, be warned, your first coat may not even show. You want to get it as thin as possible, very, very thin. Make sure you mixed your paint up, or I shook mine a little bit. That's fine too. You can shake it up and just paint it on there, nice and smooth. That's too dark. I got it too thick. Maybe it won't run. So now we're going to do this hand. Likewise the same. These fingers now, as you can see, are not dug into his hand. They are sitting on top of his hand. Much, much easier to paint. Sometimes they make babies with really tightly clenched fists, and sometimes their fingers are just a little bit folded down like this one. He has both, one on each hand. I like open hands. They're super easy to paint. Some people like balled up fists. They think they're cuter. I don't know. They make them all different. So you may have a baby that has balled up fists, or you may have a baby that has open hands, or like this one, they just have, their fingers are just kind of folded down. The littler babies like Ashley, and they have balled up fists. Aspen and Leaf, they're supposed to be preemies, so they have very balled up hands. I think the consensus is tinier babies ball their fists up more. I don't know. But I don't know if they really do or not, but that's the way it seems to be. The bigger the doll, the more open their hands usually are. They don't usually have balled up. You know, babies stop doing that after a certain amount of time. I don't know exactly how old. I had babies, but I don't remember that kind of stuff. We paint the toenails virtually the same. Just paint them. Just take your time. This is not something you want to rush. Well, you don't want to rush any part of your doll. But some parts go a little faster than other parts. And people get impatient because it's taking so long to do a certain part. And they rush through it. And you don't need to do that. You want to make the best baby you can every time. And one thing is patience. You have to have patience. Now, if you're doing air dry, you're going to have to put multiple more coats on than you do with heat set. It's a dimmer paint. It's waterier. And yeah, they use water in that one. And this one's oil-based, so it uses paint thinner. I think, now other people have different opinions than mine, but I think the colors are more true and more vivid for heat set. I have tried air dry. I am no good at it. I don't like it, and I don't want to learn it. There's a learning curve to painting. I can't teach you that one because I don't do it. But this one I do. And I use a simpler method than most people use. Very straightforward, very easy, very not complicated at all. It's just simplified. I spent much amount of time doing multiple things to dolls and then deciding was it worth it or not. One thing I don't do is model. I don't like it. Modeling's very easy to do though. If you like it, you just have paint. A lot of people use darker paint for modeling. I use lighter paint because I don't even like the modeling, and it shows way too much to me. A lot of people's modeling shows way too much. Most people use red, purple, blue, Some people also add yellow and green. And to me, the doll just looks like an alien or something. It looks freaky. Now, if you just make it, they have this little kit that is an alien. And if you made her, yeah, you'd want to put a lot of modeling on her because, well, it looks like they're alien skin to me. And I don't like it, so I don't do it. But all you have to do is take a sponge, like the one you saw me dabbing Ethan's face with, this one, and pull holes in it. You just make holes in it. And it comes out, I think I threw away all, oh, here's one. It comes out looking something like this. Now, this is one great big round thing. I made modeling sponges of all different shapes and sizes, and I modeled a doll. Now, people use all different colors to model too. They use, like I said, reds, purples, blues, browns, all different colors. And they put layer after layer after layer on. And you can do that if you want to. You just do it all over your doll, everywhere. That's what they do. I don't do it. But I don't like the way it comes out. I just don't like it. And anyway, that would be your first thing to do, modeling. I think probably you would do it before you even do the creasing. Some people don't crease first either. I find it much easier to crease first. And I don't find, this is another thing I did, doing things at different stages on the doll to see if it made a difference. Like, okay, some of my creasing washed off, let me just do it at a different stage. It doesn't help. I've noticed that if you don't have enough paint on top of your creases, they look fake. And that is true if you're painting them on or penciling them on. It's true for both. So I did, like I said, many experiments with my dolls to figure out what's worth it and what's not. And I found that modeling is not worth it. Also, I don't do much veining because it just is, if it's visible at all at the end, it's barely visible. And that's the way it's supposed to be, barely visible. I'm turning the head upside down to do his lips because I can see the lip line a little better. We want to do the lips early because we need to stay within that lip line. And we can't stay within something we can't see. And I can barely see it as it is. I should have done it very first. But once again, you want to be very careful doing your lips. Very careful. Take your sweet time. You're making a fine painting here, a fine oil painting. You want to make every little bit of it perfect. This is one of the most perfect things you can do is the lips. The teeniest bit of paint is all you need. If you can even see the dot on your brush, it's probably too much. We just want to barely cover these lips. Mostly because we don't want to rush this job. We don't want it to look like they got peeling lips or cracked lips, or unless that's the look you're going for. Now, if you're going for that look, yeah, go ahead. But I am not going for that look. So I just take my time and just paint. Make sure, no matter how odd it looks to you right now, stay in that lip line. Because later, when you're painting the doll, you're going to go, well, that looks funny. I came out of the lip line there, and it looks funny now. Because logically, you're going to go, shouldn't that be further out on that lip or something? But realistically, the answer is no. But back to enhancements that are worth it or not worth it. You have to decide that for yourself. If you like that particular thing, then you should do it. If you don't, then don't. That's just the way it works. I don't like modeling. I don't do it. I don't do veining hardly ever. I have done it as in a tutorial to just show people how to do it. But like I said, at the end, you can't appreciate that vein. Yeah, you can see it if you strain your eyes. But anything you can't really appreciate in the doll later, I just opted to not do it. I want my craft to be fun and easy and relaxed, and I don't want to worry over things. So I just don't. If you don't even crease, that's okay. If you crease a lot, that's okay. Whatever you want to do, that's okay. I just don't do it. I don't do a lot of things because they're not important to me. And one thing that is important, though, is smooth lips. So you see I'm taking a lot of time to do his lips. And I'm making sure they're very spread. The paint's very spread out. There's no little puddles anywhere. One place it likes to puddle is right where the two lips come together. And another place is in these little lines that go up and down on the lips. It will puddle right in those little lines. So once again, wipe off your excess and take the excess off the lips. We just want a very, very thin coating. And make sure you're turning the doll every which way so you can see if you missed any of the lip line. We do not want to miss any of the lip line. You will see that later and you'll be going, oh man, I can't believe it. And then you'll try to catch it up and you won't be able to. So get it right at the beginning. Take all the time you need. This layer is going to be your guide because after this layer, you probably will not be able to see the lip line anymore. So get it right this first time and it will be much, much easier to do it every time after this. That looks really good to me. Now I'm going to put a little inside his nose too. Believe me, if you don't, that's going to show at the end. It's going to look odd. All we're looking for is a color that would be on a doll. Some people use a dark brownish color, which I don't particularly like. Some people drill out the nose. Drill it out. They open it up and have an opening into the head. I think that's a mistake. Shading the nose is the way to go. That's my opinion. If you want to drill out your doll's nose, go right on and do it. I'm not doing it to my doll. I have one doll, and I didn't make him. He has a drilled out nose. It's odd and weird. For one thing, if there's anything loose in his head at all, it could come out that hole. Moisture could get inside the doll. A lot of things could happen. Anyway, I don't do it. I just color the nose. And I'm looking for a color that is on a baby, and red is. And I don't think you can even see up a real baby's nose. I mean, if you opened it up a little bit, you know, pushed it open with your fingers or something, you might could, but just normally you can't see up their nose. But you can the doll's nose. Now, his face is almost finished. I'm going to do one more thing to his face. And I had to wait. I was waiting for the blue to dry because I want to put a little red on his forehead. And to do that, the blue had to be dry. I see some harsh stuff up here. I'm going to brush it a little. We don't want anything harsh looking on our baby. As soon as you see a problem, that's the time to fix it right then. Because if you don't, it just gets worse as you go. Okay, we're going to just put a little red up here on his forehead. Now, when he comes out of the oven, we're going to have to do a second round of enhancements because this first round is inadequate to make it through all those layers of paint. I just give them a little bit of red up on one side of their forehead. It's odd and off-center, like that. I started doing it with the very first doll I made. It was my signature mark. But people are now calling them stork bites. I don't know. I'm also going to give him some eyebrows. I just use a pencil for that because a lot of people make what they call realistic looking eyebrows, but I'm going to tell you they're scary looking. They'll just make all these individual little hairs and they just make it too big in the wrong place and really dark, and it looks odd. Babies, you can barely see their eyebrows. They barely have any. They don't need little individual hairs. They just need something there. So I just make a wispy little line. Now you want to identify the brow ridge. And you do that by looking where is the bone. Where's the bone? Where would the bone be? This would be the bone right here. So the brow ridge is slightly, slightly above that, almost touching it. In fact, if you put it on the bone, it'd probably be all right. But you just want to make just a wispy little line. Give him a little bit of something there that, like I said, we're looking for illusion here. The illusion that he has eyebrows. Now this will bake on, and it too will get lighter. Everything gets lighter when it bakes. But he just has wispy, wispy little eyebrows like that. And once he's painted, you will still see them, but they will be very light. And I think they look good. I like those eyebrows. So we're going with that. Some people root the eyebrows even. I just can't. That's ridiculous to me. But anyway, that's all we can do to him this round. We have to give him a bake before we can do any more. And when we come back, we will be doing a little more to his face, and we will be doing some stuff to his hands and feet. That will be his second round of enhancements, and then we will go from there. We can't promise that's the last round because you have to wait and see how it looks before you can move on. Oh, I have hiccups. Anyway, we're going to get him in the oven and get him baked. And please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And happy reborning.